You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network. Now the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Dallas After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Dallas After Show.
What's up, kids? Welcome back. Bing is for doing, and we're here doing another recap show for Dallas season 1 of the continuation of Dallas.
What season were you gonna say?
Well, it would technically be season 15. I guess so. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes. There were 14 original seasons, which I've started watching. I'll tell you about that later. But this is episode 3, The Price You Pay. I'm AJ Gibson, your host, joined by my lovely, lovely co-hosts. One of them more lovely than the other. I'll let her introduce herself first.
So
Dorinda Barker.
You see how he just jumps in on you? You try to say your name and he's talking over you.
Say it again. Say it again.
Dorinda Barker.
Try being in a relationship with a guy for 3 years.
God, it just never gets old.
And who
never
are you?
gets old. I'm Ryan Allen Carillo.
Nice to meet you. Fantastic. We're back. So this episode started off with a bang.
It did.
A lot of stuff going on very quickly.
Very quickly.
The show's doing well. I mean, in the ratings last week, it was a huge success for TNT. They had almost 6.9 million viewers.
Yeah.
Right.
Close. I mean, it's a big number for TNT. It's the biggest non-major network show of the year so far, I guess.
So it's a huge success. So
Yeah. Good for them.
Right.
The show's really good.
Right.
I didn't know if it would be. I thought it would be terrible.
I thought it was gonna be 50-50. I'm like,
Yeah.
you just never know. A lot of these reboots lately have just not been that great.
Right. And I covered GCB in the spring, which I love, but it was a little campy and kind of never really got off the ground. And this also takes place in Dallas, and I was afraid it could kind of end up something like that, but not at all. Because this Dallas was originally a soap opera, essentially. And it's cool. I like it.
I think it's definitely stayed true to its roots. So it's like
Yes.
it's very, very much like the original and scandalous. Every 2 seconds there's some scandal going on.
And for those of you guys watching and those of you listening, I know last week I was a little bit confused. I read some of your iTunes comments, and I thank you for helping me get through this. I had no idea. I'd never seen an episode of Dallas. So this weekend, I literally watched 20 episodes. I watched all of the season 1, the 5-part miniseries,
correct,
which then turned into an actual that became season 1.
Right.
And then I watched the first 15 episodes of season 2 from 1979. I know everything there is to know about the Ewings and the Barnes families. I know it all. So
Who's your
I'm
favorite
ready.
character?
My favorite character. Oh my gosh, I can't even I can't even talk about this. I get so nervous when I talk about Victoria Principal as Pamela Barnes Ewing. She's Cliff Barnes' sister, who we'll talk about later. She is everything. I had no idea. I've heard about her before.
She's complete T.
She is complete T. Like, she is capital T.
Right.
She's phenomenal, and I had no idea. I'd heard the name growing up, but I didn't really know who she was.
She's amazing.
There aren't women like her on television right now.
No,
the closest I could think of was, what's her name from, oh gosh, you're going to kill me right now. I can't think of her name. Lost.
Evangeline Lilly.
Oh, Evangeline Lilly. I was in love with her. Yeah, she's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, she's amazing.
But she comes close. But Victoria Principal and that little red.
She was just so young and had just such presence. Yeah, she was amazing.
Oh, she just walked into a room and you were like, oh, I love you. I want to be you.
Because she would be hot today looking like that.
Right.
And she still actually is hot. I've seen pictures of her recently. She looks great.
Right. She looks amazing.
Oh, Lord. But we do have some topics. We should probably try to cover them, right?
P.S. We were in Denver this weekend, and he would text me at 3 in the morning. Oh, my gosh, this episode, someone got kidnapped. Like, he's out of control.
Yes. We were in, okay, this is the kind of gay that I am. We were in Denver working an event for Gay Pride all weekend, doing all kinds of stuff, getting crazy. And on my off time, I literally just sat in my hotel room and watched Dallas.
Yeah. And he wonders why he doesn't have a boyfriend.
I know. I'm like, why am I single? I can't figure this out. I'm like laying in bed, like eating Oreos at 3 in the morning, watching Dallas from 1979.
Right.
But you got to see Pam in the red convertible.
Oh, she's phenomenal.
The red convertible.
I understand Victoria Principal now, so I get it. We actually have a friend who wanted the red convertible his entire life because he adores Victoria Principal so much.
So he bought the same car, but a white one.
No.
I swear.
Too funny.
That's fantastic.
Too funny. Anyway, so so at the beginning of this episode, well, we've got a few topics we're going to talk about. Let's talk about JR, because there's no way on earth you can ever get around him. He's phenomenal.
He has more lines than anyone else on the whole show. Like, I thought he was going to be a very like supporting character for some reason because it's his age and everything else. But he was just like
they're really building the show around the original characters,
right?
He steals it. Like there's no doubt about it. I mean, one of his not lines. It was a couple lines, but when he was talking to the Venezuelans, and he goes, "The best
at the very
way."
Beginning?
At the very beginning, he goes, "The best way to understand a man is to talk to his friends and to talk to his enemies. My friends are all in the big house, and my enemies, well, that's a different story."
Yeah, he calls them a little bit harder to find.
Yeah, a little bit. Yes.
I'm like, well, okay, all right,
there you go.
Fantastic. He's connected.
Oh yeah.
And he knows what he's doing. It's interesting because I watch him now. He's so ruthless on the new show. But in season 1, he was, because season 1 was a little bit more about Bobby and Pam. And then season 2, he starts to kind of control things a little bit more, but he's still a little bit, the family still kind of thinks he's a decent person. By now, all these years later, everybody knows he's ruthless and they don't trust him at all.
Right.
Which you don't really realize until the end of this episode, which we'll talk about. But Bobby's not as naive as he used to be.
Right.
Yeah. Which
well,
is
because
cool.
he's been screwed over so many times that it's just like
It's
second nature.
Yeah. It wouldn't be normal.
I'm not even through with season 2 yet, and I swear to you, there have been at least like 4 or 5 kidnappings. I mean, there's a lot of kidnappings on this show.
Right.
I don't get it.
Did they kidnap John Ross yet? Is that season 2?
John Ross?
Yeah, when
JR?
he gets bored. No, when he gets born, he gets kidnapped and there's a whole ransom. It's hysterical.
No, but Sue Ellen's pregnant right now.
Okay, well, it's coming up. It's
Yeah. So JR moves back into Southfork. It's all this big elaborate plot between him, his doctor. Is that really his doctor?
Or maybe a patient at the...
Yeah, a patient. That's what I was thinking,
That's what I was picking up on.
Yeah, some guy who plays his doctor, just a buddy that he plays checkers with it at the what did you guys call it last week?
The nice nursing home.
Yeah, but you called it something else.
The rest home.
Rest home.
Like a rest stop.
I've still never heard of a rest home, but I don't know what that means.
Rest stop.
But yeah, so they devised this plan, he and his son John Ross, to get him back basically to Southfork.
Yeah.
So they have this guy call Bobby and say, hey, look, JR's really starting to respond well to your visits. We think that it's really helping him come along. And Bobby, being the good guy that he is, says, look, I'll come out there more often if that's what you need. He's like, well, we think it would probably be best for him if he just moved back to Southfork. And Bobby's like, oh, Lord.
Right.
The look on his face was priceless. He's like,
yes.
Right. But then like Anne was like, oh, it may not be a bad thing to have him around.
And Anne does what every woman on the show does. Every woman in the Ewing family, she immediately walks away with her head held high and goes and makes a bed for him.
Right.
I mean, she prepares his room.
Right.
I'm like, really?
She can handle a rifle too.
She handles a rifle every episode.
Her.
I love her too.
Yeah,
I love her. I want to be her.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Pamela could handle a gun, but definitely Anne has that. Of course, the she's stoic about it.
Stoicism.
That's it. That's it. That's the word.
Good word.
Yeah.
I like that. It's perfect.
The part that was weird about the doctor calling, after he hung up the phone, John Ross was in the room and he was like, now about that date you promised me. I'm like, what is this turning into? Is it a gay doctor?
I know, right? But then he said he wanted a steak, a nice steak, and a blonde.
Yeah.
Because he's tired of eating the Jell-O.
Jell-O, yes.
That's how I figured out
he's from the rest home.
Oh, yes, you're right. See, I heard that. I was like, why does the doctor eat the Jell-O? I didn't even think like that. That is too funny. You're right. Mm-hmm. Well, there you go. So JR is making friends, high places, low places, all over the place.
Everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he gets back into Southfork because he's actually out in the stable looking through some of Miss Ellie's old things that have been boxed up and put away, hers and Jock's, and he comes across her journal.
Correct.
And Anne knows that something's up, so of course, what does she do? She grabs a rifle and she heads out to the stable and she pulls a gun on JR, and he's just sitting there, reading, because she knows that nobody really goes out there anymore. Nobody's out digging through those things. Like, why would they be?
Right.
And they're not used to having other people living at Southfork. So she pulls a gun on JR, and he's like, oh no, I'm just reading Mom's journal.
Right.
Then he gives the journal to John Ross, tells him to read through it and to find stuff. Basically, they're looking for a way to discredit Miss Ellie and say that she wasn't in a good state of mind.
Which is sick, because
that
is so sick that
mom.
you're gonna do that to exactly. She bored you.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're trying to find a way to discredit her and to overturn the will.
Right.
Which is just wild. But what is even crazier is the way that they pulled it off. That scene to me was everything in this episode. The scene where John Ross takes the journal to Bobby and tries to blackmail him and say, look, you know, looks like Miss Ellie went through some stuff after Jock died, her husband, and basically trying to say that she was crazy.
Right, basically trying to blackmail.
Yes, and Bobby did not take too kindly to that. But then JR walks up, he goes, like, to hell you will, over my dead body, or whatever he says to him about trying to blackmail Bobby. Yeah. He's like, you will not do that to my mother, blah, blah, blah. And they put on this whole act, and he slaps John Ross across the face hard.
Oh, yeah.
They sold it. I mean, that was a convincing scene, I thought.
It was a full smack.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, yeah. I think afterwards, and I say, boy, he made that look real convincing.
I felt it.
I was like, whoa.
I'm not mad at a good smack, though, either. But, no, but that was...
He's so inappropriate.
That was something. I mean, right? Inappropriate, please. But no, that was interesting. I really thought they sold that. We find out later that they're not as good actors as they thought, though.
Correct.
Which is kind of cool.
Because Anne's kind of playing the part where she's acting to JR that she is naive and just like, oh, yeah, blah, 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 when really she knows what JR is.
She's smart.
Right. So JR actually thinks he's playing her a little bit, her emotions, but
not at all. Not at all. And not Bobby either. Bobby's going through his own things right now, but he's still very aware of JR.
Right.
And it's funny because I kind of thought the first couple episodes, I'm like, oh my God, they're naive. And she knows how to handle a gun and she knows how to handle JR.
Again, Republicans with the guns.
I know. I love a good. I feel like there might be a Democrat or two in this family. There has to be. Christopher.
Maybe.
Because he's trying to go.
Green energy.
Yeah. I feel like Bobby might vote Democrat now.
I don't know about that.
I know, that's a stretch,
That's
right?
a stretch.
That's a stretch. So, I mean, it's a lot going on. The journal is kind of key to this episode.
Yeah, I think that was key, but I still don't think that Bobby's up on, like, when he signed the papers. He thought he's getting rid of Southfork and all this is going to be over.
Right.
He doesn't know that the other shoe's about to drop. And that's what I'm looking forward to see how he's going to handle it.
The other shoe's about to drop. You know, I got a new pair of shoes yesterday. They're really hot. I got these new high tops. You know where you can get really great high tops?
Where?
Amazon.com. You know how you can get there? Through AfterBuzzTV.com / just click on the banner now.
Yeah.
That's right. We have a banner at the top right corner of our website. You guys can buy shoes all day long. I love Nike high tops. I adore them. I literally live for them.
And I ordered something today that way.
On Amazon?
Yeah.
See, fantastic. You're helping us keep this studio running.
I did.
By making your purchases on Amazon through AfterBuzz TV, you guys, it really helps us out. It doesn't cost you guys a penny. It takes one extra click, and it really, really benefits us. It keeps us doing what we do, which we absolutely love. So if you guys could do that for us, we'd really, really appreciate it. They have fantastic shoes on there.
They do.
There are some other websites, but they don't compare.
Get your kicks on Amazon.
Get your kicks on Amazon. Get your kicks on Route 66. Wasn't that an old saying?
Yes.
That's before my time.
Yes.
You are as old as Methuselah. You are 112 years old before your time. Please.
I don't have a wrinkle on my face.
I do. I got a couple right here.
My face is like Llewellyn, completely pulled and tucked.
Yeah, I need some injections immediately. Oh, so moving on, Bobby. It's funny how all the main topics of these episodes are still JR and Bobby.
Oh yeah,
I love.
It's the classic story of Cain and Abel. Really, if you look at it,
because that's getting biblical right now.
She just got biblical real quick.
Yeah,
Dallas to the Bible.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, you are talking Republicans. You gotta talk about the Bible every once in a while.
Republicans and Bibles go hand in hand.
Exactly.
Lord.
But I think that's as far as the Bible's ever gonna go in this conversation.
That's so funny.
You could buy. You know what I actually read this on Twitter the other day. I have one of those OMG facts. The most stolen book in the entire world is the Bible. Isn't that ironic?
Because it's out of hotels. Because there's always one in a hotel.
That does make sense, actually. You know how we could find this out? We could go on to Bing.com and find out. Bing it, everyone. Bing it. Find out. Let us know. Let us know why Bibles are so stolen.
I'll tell you why, though, because if it goes back to hotels, because every time I go to a hotel, I throw away the Bible.
Oh, my Lord. He did not just say that. We do not condone this. I just hide it under the bed so nobody else can find it. Moving on. Bobby's got cancer. So, apparently, since the last episode, Bobby has had this cancer taken care of. He and Anne Anne, correct?
Yes.
Anne decided to deal with it kind of privately. They didn't even tell Christopher.
People Yes, for just having surgery, he looks amazing.
Yeah, we don't know if it was just like the other day or if it was a couple of weeks had gone by, or I'm not really sure if they really addressed that. But and also in the original series, things would happen and like literally moments later they'd be like having bourbon by the pool, and like 20 minutes before they were all like held at gunpoint in the living room. So like these Ewings bounce back very quickly.
Right, so, like the girl on Prometheus that had a full C-section. She's running around screaming.
I can't deal with Prometheus right now.
Right,
so,
I totally agree.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
So Marissa saw it too.
Like she had a full surgical
I did
alien.
not believe that at all.
I've heard nothing but bad things about that movie. So, and I've been so excited about it too.
I know.
I don't know.
That was the best part though.
Yeah. Well, I don't need to see it now.
Right.
So Bobby has cancer. We're all laughing about it, and he has it taken care of. But when he's at the doctor, they say that the tumor was much larger than they expected, and that they got it all, but that because of that, there's a much larger chance that it could come back. Is that correct?
Right.
Am I saying this right? Okay. So they have other forms of treatment they can now take, and he's basically like, do whatever you have to do. Right. As long as it's not going to make me lose my hair, which is kind of funny.
Right. And then
he's known for his hair.
Right. Yeah. Some of the side effects, I guess, were like pretty severe. Like what was it? Heart failure.
Yeah.
Myopathy. Cardiomyopathy.
Cardiomyopathy. What is that?
Which is what?
I don't know. A heart attack.
Oh. That's another.
Stroke was one.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So they were pretty, you know.
So, I mean, a heart attack, a stroke, whatever. No biggie.
I mean, they've already killed him once. He's not going to die again.
Really? I haven't gotten to that season yet. Quit ruining it for me.
Well, you already know.
The show's been out for 30 years. I'm like, don't ruin it. Anyways. So, but then they do tell Christopher because Bobby decides to still go ahead and sell Southfork. He signs over the papers, correct? And as he's doing this, Christopher comes to tell him that he actually figured out a way to harvest the methane.
Yes.
Without causing earthquakes and tsunamis.
Really?
I'm like, I get it, you guys. You're trying to be current and everything. I understand that. Like tsunamis, like they're all the rage right now for whatever reason. I'm just kidding. That was a bad joke. But they're trying to stay current and act like they're like really up on like what's going on in the world. But like really, you're harvesting methane and it's going to cause tsunamis around the world.
Right.
Like, how come we've never heard of this?
And then he was able to solve it in like 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, like in like
he's really smart.
In a laboratory with his ex-girlfriend.
Laying on the couch, which was weird too.
Yes, fast asleep.
Fast asleep.
I mean, I don't know about that. But he solved it, and as he's going to tell his dad, Bobby, has already signed over Southfork to the Venezuelans. Is that correct?
What he doesn't know.
He doesn't know who it is.
Well, he doesn't know it's
the
them, but
Casa de Sol people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he thinks that's what.
Casa de Sol, Venezuela. Put 2 and 2 together, people. They go together, clearly. Peace. Namaskar.
Yes, exactly.
Namaste. So he sells it, and as this is happening, Christopher walks in, and he's like, no, what are you doing? And Bobby sends the attorney. Attorney, his name is either Mr. Lavelle or Mr. LaBelle. We were not sure.
I think it's LaBelle.
With a B?
Yeah, because at the end it sounded more like LaBelle.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. They started enunciating better by the end of the episode, I think.
Yeah.
So the attorney, Mr. LaBelle, takes the documents out of the room, and Christopher's basically upset with his dad. He's like, look, you've never believed in me. You've never believed in me. What's going on? And his dad, he's like, why can't you just treat me like a man? And that then makes Bobby realize, you know what, you're right. Although I've just sold Southfork, I am going to sit you down and talk to you like a man. And he tells him, look, I've got cancer. And Christopher's kind of taken aback by that. And then he tells him that he's already had it taken care of. He's already had the surgery. I mean,
right.
Like, it never said a word to him. I would be furious.
Could you imagine?
Like, if my family's kind of like that. They don't like to share things like any health problems. My grandfather was like that. My grandmother was like that. My mom's kind of like that. And anytime anything out of the ordinary happens in anyone's health in my family, they don't say a word.
Right.
And I am not happy about it. I'm like, I want to know the moment you know.
Of course.
Like,
I think most of us like that, but I also think that, the last generation, I think that they had those secrets. They didn't really want to talk about it. Speaking of your mother.
Oh, yeah. I have to do this right now. Mother, I love you. I adore you. Happy birthday. It's my mom's birthday today. Yeah. Yes, I won't tell anyone how old you are, Mom, but you're fantastic.
She's very young.
She is very young. She looks young.
Well, she had you at 16, right, or something like that?
Shut up. You're so stupid.
Just kidding, Kathy.
Hilarious. Mama Kath.
Mama Kath.
That's right. But I want to make sure I said happy birthday to her because I love her and I miss you and I wish I were there to celebrate with you. But I'm not. I'm here.
So touching.
I'm here making my dreams come true, Mother. Support. We'll see you soon, though. I think they're going to come out. Mom and Mackenzie are going to come out soon. My little sister. So.
Cool.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah. I want them to sit in here and watch.
Oh, that would be
a blast.
That would be so much fun.
Yeah.
Well, your mom watches all the episodes.
She watches everything. She literally watches them over and over again, and then she texts me and tells me that I was wrong about this, that, and whatever. She corrects me a lot.
This, that, and the other.
I wonder where I get it. I wonder. So, Bobby's got cancer, right? So Bobby, this whole thing goes down. Finally, Christopher knows about this. Christopher doesn't deal with it very well. He
runs outside.
In
the windstorm.
I'm sorry, I'm getting text messages that are interesting.
He runs outside in the windstorm.
In a windstorm, okay, which is the funniest thing about this, because I'm realizing as I watch seasons 1 and 2 of Dallas, it's always windy at Southfork. All the time. And they have breakfast, lunch, and dinner out on their like patio furniture. And it's always windy.
Right, which is why, I told you earlier that Sue Ellen on The View, whatever, what's her real name?
Linda Gray.
Right,
Linda Gray.
I know everything now. See, are you guys back? You guys at home should be so proud of me for like doing your research.
Caught up quick.
Yeah, I did.
But Linda Gray, I guess one season cut all of her hair off as short as like mine because she was so sick of the wind getting in her face and everything. I guess the producers were like furious.
Your hair looks good tonight.
Yeah,
I like that.
My hair?
Yeah, it looks good.
Oh, thank you.
It's getting better lately. I'm proud of you.
I was in a windstorm.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
You always look lovely. You always do, Dorinda. Always. So as he's outside in this windstorm, Elena comes out to console him, and they kiss.
They do.
Elena, who he was going to marry originally, that's another topic we have coming up.
Oh, we're going to go there.
Yeah, we're going there. But he was going to marry her originally, so they have obviously some, a little bit of a torch for each other still.
Right. Well, there was never like a clear break.
Unresolved issues.
Unresolved issues.
Yes, there was definitely no
And the whole thing
closure.
was on camera. Someone was taking
I
pictures.
love, again, how modern Southfork is now, and somebody's got an iPhone sitting on... this is so appropriate. It's just so funny to me. The iPhone is, like, resting on, like the iconic, like, fence at Southfork.
Which the fence is completely see-through. Like, you wouldn't see someone standing there.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you'll never see it. All you see is an arm. Like, well, you can see... If you look a foot to the left, you see an entire person there attached to that iPhone.
Right, right. I mean, it's just crazy. Maybe his costume was, like, stripes all the way down.
Yeah. It was a camouflage with stripes painted across them. I don't know. But so we find out that was actually, what's his name?
Tommy.
Tommy, who is Rebecca's brother.
Brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like brother, not brother. Like a white guy. Like an actual brother. So he takes a picture and then sends it to Rebecca.
Right.
Because he's been trying to get Rebecca to get some dirt on the methane.
Yes.
By that little zip drive or
Yes.
whatever.
But did you notice that every scene that she's in, she's holding the zip drive? Like she's like gets the picture, it's in her hand, she pulls it out of her pocket.
They really want you to notice the zip drive.
Yeah.
She's carrying that zip drive everywhere.
Oh yeah, and you see it next to the computer. Still not in the computer.
Again, Dallas, we get it. You're technologically advanced now, and the entire house has been remodeled. It frustrates me now that I know about the original. I watch it. I'm like, that's not how the living room looked. That's not how the dining room looked.
Well, you're going to remodel your house from 1978, 79.
No, it's not Southfork Ranch. That's Miss Ellie's family. What are they? They were called what was their name? Oh, Lord. The South somethings. The Southmores or the something.
Oh, I don't remember that.
The original family, Ellie's family, that's where the ranch came from because they were cattle ranchers back in the day before they got into oil.
Well, there you go.
Little tidbit for you. I've got information left and right for you guys.
He's full of facts.
And I'm going to watch 2 more seasons by next week. So that goes down. So now Rebecca has the information. We find out, though, that Christopher, being the good guy that he is, and he actually is, he kind of takes after his dad. Christopher goes to Rebecca after the kiss because he kind of pulls back from Elena and realizes that that's not really what he's interested in, at least in that moment. And he goes to his wife, as he should, and he pulls her aside and says, look, as she's getting ready to literally, with the zip drive in her pocket, to like send it to some
she's like
the
this,
tabloids or something. Go. Yeah. Probably to TMZ. TMZ is going to make an appearance in episode 4 just to show us how really current they are. But so
I wouldn't be surprised.
I know, right? But so then he goes to Rebecca and says, "Look, I found out today my dad has cancer. I didn't respond to it very well. I ran outside. Elena was there to comfort me, and she looks at him. She's kind of like, and at this point we don't know, like, is she just a complete like manipulator? Is she completely just conniving, or does she actually have some feelings for him?"
Right. To me, she's leaning towards, she obviously has feelings towards him, and she's like debating the whole time whether she should follow through with what her brother wants her to do.
Exactly. And because I think her brother has a little bit more control than we realize so far.
Right.
And so he tells her this, and she's like, I don't know exactly what you're trying to say to me right now. He's like, well, I know where I need to be, and I should be here with you. I love you, and I want you to know that I will love you for the rest of your life. And he grabs her, and she kind of like looks at him with tears in her eyes, and they kiss. And it was really a sweet moment.
Right.
And then the camera pans away to the zip drive, and it's falling into the trash can.
Right.
Which was kind of a cool shot, actually.
Right.
Yeah.
I appreciate the handheld shots. I'm not sure how I feel about them yet.
Right.
Because it's a little bit dizzy for me sometimes.
This isn't The Shield.
Yeah, and it's not the Blair Witch Project either.
Exactly.
So sometimes I'm like, I'm getting nervous. I'm starting to get dizzy from the show, but it makes it feel more real. I think they're trying to make it feel more like The Hills or like any of those reality shows that are kind of...
Right.
Yeah.
As opposed to everything just being so straight and moving.
Yeah.
Trying to make it a little more aggro.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we could deal without that.
I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Just get a tripod, for God's sake.
Exactly.
Jesus.
I want to know what you guys think at home. I want to know if you guys really enjoy this style of shooting. I mean, it's interesting at sometimes. Sometimes it kind of gets a little bit... Does it make you guys dizzy? Because it makes me dizzy. Maybe because I'm old. But I want you guys to get on iTunes and let me know what you think. Do you think that this is this how shows are shot now? Because a lot of these other shows like The Office and 30 Rock and those sorts of shows are all shot like this.
Mm-hmm.
But does it work in this kind of setting? I don't know. I want to hear from you guys. And also, if you get on iTunes, rate, comment, click, let us know what you guys think. Tell your friends about us. You'll also see that I also comment on there. I respond to these things.
I do too, but they didn't post my comment.
He's off.
I must have been inappropriate.
Again, as old as Methuselah, he doesn't know how to use iTunes apparently. But I will comment back and let you guys know, you know, that I'm getting your comments and that I appreciate them.
Do you know what can help you with your dizziness?
Huh?
I bet Marta has a pill for you because she's like the pill popper.
Yeah, Marta.
She has the pill and the what's his name's drink,
stressed,
and then she got stressed and she's like pills.
Yeah, she did a pill last week for the weird non-sex thing they did.
Yeah,
whatever that was.
And
then she popped a pill tonight when JR basically said after he was leaving, was he in Venezuela? Or with
he basically said, if you screw me over, I'm going to come after you.
Yeah. What's interesting about JR is that he said this to his son earlier in the episode. Then he also said it to Marta. Basically, he's like, look, I get it. I'm a swindler. I'm a conniver. Right. I get it. I can respect it and appreciate it. Don't ever do it to me again. You'll end up in the ground, basically.
I love how JR always references his parents, too. He always says, my daddy, my mama, whatever. And he says, like, I always loved my daddy, but I also feared my daddy.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what makes the show so great back in 1978 and right now as well. It's like the family dynamic. Right. There aren't a whole lot of shows that are really like that on air anymore. Like, they're all like daytime soap operas. The shows, like again, The Young and the Restless, the Newmans and the Abbotts, and those sort of old rivalries. They're not really in prime time anymore.
Right.
And this brings it back, and it brings it back well.
Right.
I like it a lot.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, in the beginning when they're getting shaved, when John Ross and JR are getting shaved, and he sends the two people out of the room. I really got a little scared there for a minute. I was like, what is he going to do?
Yeah.
Because John Ross is covered up, and he doesn't know what's going on. And that always scares me.
Whenever they show one of those scenes in a film when a guy's getting shaved, and I'm always like, someone's going to get.
I know you're like ready for like one of those crazy like Sweeney Todd moments where they're going to make him into like a mince pie or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh, I can't handle that kind of stuff.
And I just can't.
My little sister Mackenzie loved
like that.
No, my little sister Mackenzie, they loved the movie Sweeney Todd forever, and I tried to watch it with her once, and they just like slitting throats everywhere and like cutting people up while they're shaving them. He's the demon barber of whatever something street.
It's 12-year-old, appropriate for like a 12-year-old.
She's 16, but she's 12 at the time, I think. But like anything like that makes me really nervous. I don't think I would even let somebody shave me that way.
I couldn't.
Maybe when I have like millions someday, like whatever, I'll like pay the minions.
I let someone shave my legs before my face.
Really? Like they're not gonna kill you if they cut your leg.
That's what I'm saying. She'll shave my leg.
So it's not really that bold of a statement to be making.
No, I'm just saying if you're going to shave something,
shave your legs already. Anyways.
I have pretty legs.
You do, yeah. You have something. I don't know what to comment on that. I almost said you do have pretty legs. Like, no, you don't. Like, why would I even say that? I'm starting to agree with you right now. Oh, God.
Pull it together.
Pull it together. And then we have another big story this episode. Some people have aged really well on the show.
And some people haven't.
Cliff Barnes is back.
Who was my prediction.
He's old as shit. He looks terrible.
He actually looks okay when you're close, but then he walks away and he's gotten this tall.
Yes.
And he like hobbles away like, he's the new Gollum.
Like he's been filming The Hobbit.
The Hobbit.
In New Zealand for the last few months.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't...
Weird.
Yeah, he's back and I'm really excited about it because I actually, now that I'm watching the original, I love the Barnes family. He was great in the original, but I haven't gotten... I'm on season 2 right now, so to me, he's still a great guy. He's still really nice and like down to earth and like has a good heart. Right. Apparently, that something changes in the next 12 seasons because he's not a good guy anymore.
Right.
He comes back and he's ready to. He's JR.
It's JR. JR changes him. The whole everything that happens.
Can we also talk about his aide that knocked on the door on Christopher's door?
Okay, from Star Trek.
Yes, he was the captain on Star Trek, the movie, the opening, 2009. A little nerd alert for you.
Oh, that's what he was
That's
from.
who he was.
Oh,
Yeah.
the hottie. Yeah,
Hottie.
he was good looking on that.
Was he?
Yeah.
Well, he's your type, I guess.
He's not my type. What was he? I don't even know what ethnicity he is.
I think he's Indian or
Like,
something.
yeah, or like Middle Eastern or something.
Yeah.
I think it could be my type.
You are single.
Yeah, if you are Indian or Middle Eastern and you think you might be my type, go ahead and send me get on YouTube, send me a video. No,
Inappropriate.
I'm not inappropriate. I'm AJ. That's who I am. Deal with it. Love it or leave it. So, yeah. This so he's back, Cliff Barnes.
He's
Yeah.
back.
We knew this was going to happen.
Right.
Had to happen.
Right.
But I thought that Cliff Barnes, and I don't know, I thought that Cliff Barnes might be the dad to either Tommy or Rebecca. But apparently he's not, because he invites Christopher and Rebecca
Yeah.
to dinner at his place and tries to bribe Christopher. And Christopher's like, why are you really here? He's like, well, I have $1 million to offer you to help you with your methane project. And he's like, but why now? Why are you here now? I miss my family. No, you didn't. You know, he's basically trying to one-up JR again.
Right.
Because Christopher already turned down the Ewings with their offer for money. And so now he's trying to one-up them. And he's trying to basically get back at him for all these years of shenanigans.
And he pulled the same crap that John Ross has pulled on Christopher. And even I don't know if JR has pulled it on him, but I know he said it behind his back. You're not one of them. You'll never be one of them.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's pulling that card out again so he can make him feel bad.
And he drops his mom's name, Pam. He talks about Pam. Victoria Principal. I learned about her this weekend. She's everything. But he drops her name too and tries to like play that guilt card.
Of course. That's what
is
that's what this whole
this entire show is all about guilt.
Right.
I feel it's basically a microcosm of like the Catholic Church. I went to Catholic school growing up, and I'm like, oh my God, they just try to guilt everybody into everything, and that's exactly what it is.
Again, back to religion and the Bible.
Again, here it is.
See, oh
Lord, I can't even. There's too much. There's way too much.
Too much going on.
Yeah.
But I think with Cliff Barnes, so much more is going to play into this because there's and his henchmen or whatever his
Right. I still think he's behind
yes
the sister brother dynamic duo.
Yeah,
there's something behind them that has to do with him.
on.
There has to be.
Right.
She was way too quiet
Yeah.
and just very. And if you ever noticed at one point, like when she like swallowed, it was like very nervous. Like she was. There's something.
You're talking about Rebecca?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just don't travel around with like a scary aide like that unless you're up to no good.
Yeah. No good. Downright dirty fool is what he is.
I know.
But he's old. Like, can he really last on this show? Like,
That's
that's what I start to wonder about some of these characters. I'm like, what if they
That's
go like
terrible. But I
5,
was
6
thinking that-
seasons, and I'm like, they're not gonna make it.
I was thinking the same thing too. I'm like, is that why they're diagnosed with cancer? One's
Yeah.
depressed, so that
So now they have like an out. If all of a sudden they're not on the show anymore, they're like, well, they died. Isn't that terrible?
But in the old season, they would die or something would happen. They would just replace them with someone else.
Well,
Really?
when Jock died, they actually did a whole big thing for him. Like,
really?
yeah, and you'll see that. Sorry to
But then
ruin that for
Jock
you.
dies.
But wait, Jock dies, but then someone does come back as him. Remember, he was held in a prison
Oh
or
yeah,
in the
and then
mountains.
they find out that
it
it's
really
not,
wasn't him.
Yeah, that guy. Oh, I remember that guy. Yeah.
Like somebody had plastic surgery and came
Yeah,
back.
his face was taken off in the plane crash or something.
and he just knew things, and Miss Ellie. Yeah.
This is just like Young and the Restless.
It is
what you
exactly.
wrote for
I'm
it.
like, that's happened to Lauren on Young and the Restless. Sheila's come back as 12 different people in Young and the Restless. Catherine Chancellor had somebody come back as her. I mean, that happens on Young and the Restless all the time.
It really does.
I do love the Young and the Restless a little bit too much, don't
A little
I?
bit too much.
Yeah, I think I need to compose myself. I think maybe we should go to a commercial right now so we can compose ourselves and come back and finish out the show. How about that, Marissa?
Hey there, good buddies. The handle's Woolly Bear. I'm a truck driving man, but I'm not that old school kind of truck driving man, no. I like to listen to podcasts while I'm driving through these great United States of ours. And my favorite podcasts in the world are from AFTERBUZZ TV. And why? Because AFTERBUZZ TV is like a post-game wrap-up show for all your favorite TV shows. Like Jersey Shore, Dancing with the Stars, Mad Men, and a whole truckload more. I like listening to my Gossip Girl podcast, catching up with all my fellow fans and getting all the latest news and gossip. No, I got some strong opinions. And AFTERBUZZ TV lets me share those opinions with thousands of other listeners. Woo-wee, what a feeling. I used to doze off on those lonely stretches of road. And don't worry, I got the cruise control. But now I'm wide awake and listening to all the AFTERBUZZ TV goodness. Check them out. Give them a holler. And tell them the old Woolly Bear sent you.
3 that was in Pop Stars 2 on the WB.
You realize we're on again right now. You're just talking away. So we're back, and if we have a couple more things we'd like to touch on. I know that it seems so odd to me that right out the gate, and it makes sense, I guess, because you kind of need to raise the stakes for this new reboot, or they're not calling it a reboot, but whatever this Dallas 2012. Yes, reinvention. Yeah. Okay, Madonna. I knew you were the reinvention tour. So obviously they can't sell Southfork.
No.
Right now it's sold. But, like, that can't go through. It's not that easy. And without Southfork, it's like having Sex in the City without New York City. Can't happen.
It wouldn't be a city.
Didn't they go to Morocco, or where they go that once?
Abu Dhabi.
Yeah. How did that work out? You can't do these shows without, like, the main character, which for this show is Southfork. It's the ranch. So that's not going to go through. And this attorney, LaBelle, he's a shyster. He's trying to blackmail now John Ross for $5 million.
Because basically he said that the conservatorship has 24 hours before they sell it to JR.
Yeah.
And he's saying all it takes is one phone call to Bobby, and this whole deal goes away. And for $5 million, then I'll keep quiet.
And with that one phone call, JR and John Ross both go to jail.
Right.
Because what they're doing is illegal.
Right.
Yes.
You know, and which it kills me because he also told him right before that there's billions of dollars of oil involved with this deal. Billions.
Right.
You're asking for $5 million when there's billions of dollars. I'm like, you don't ask for $5 million. And John Ross's face was like, really? That's a drop in the bucket.
Right. And then they're trying to find dirt on the lawyer to try to discredit him so they don't have to pay him. I'm like, just give him the $5 million and hit it.
Yeah, and call it a day. Billions of dollars.
I mean, the property's worth more than $5. I mean, it's just crazy.
What I don't get, though, is how JR is like, John Ross is like, we need to find dirt on him. And JR is like, no, he's clean as a whistle. Yet he's blackmailing you for $5 million. This guy isn't as clean as we think he is.
And is he tied to JR then? Because JR is trying to get John Ross to stop looking into it? Like, why would JR even say that? He's clean as a whistle. Well, JR knows better.
Yeah, there has to be something. And the only thing that JR mentioned was his son and how his son had a drinking problem and killed a woman.
And there was a witness, but the witness has disappeared apparently.
10 years ago or 5 years ago or something.
Yes.
So it's a tangled web they weave on these Ewings.
It's much easier than last week though. Trying to put it all together. Yeah, for sure.
2 hours and 15 minutes of Dallas, which is the weirdest 2 hour and 15 minute premiere ever. But then we also realized that along with all this, as we're figuring out that John Ross doesn't really know what's going on, JR possibly knows what's going on, but we're not even sure because he thinks that Bobby and Ann are being duped by him. And then we find out in the bedroom later that night as Ann is putting on her hand lotion to keep those hands nice and soft.
Which I'm like, what's she getting that lotion for?
I know. I'm like, are they about to get crazy?
Yeah.
I'm like, he just had surgery. Calm down. Slow down. So we find out that she doesn't trust JR at all. She sees right through him, which is kind of cool. I like that they made her. I did not want, because I loved her character from Desperate Housewives, even though she was just a voice. But she did a lot of cameos and stuff, and I loved her character.
She's a strong female character.
Very much so.
Which so was Pam, so it's,
But in a very different way, though.
Correct.
Pam kind of grew into it, though, because Pam was so young when the show first came on. And she stepped right into that role, and she looks like she's been a Ewing her entire life.
I question Ann's decorating skills, though, because you just see those lamps and those stars behind the bed.
The stars above the headboard? Those were so weird.
I wouldn't have that in that mansion.
If they're that rich, they should have a little bit more.
4 2-bit stars hanging above your headboard. I mean, come on.
Come on.
We don't talk alike at all. So, but then
the only place you're supposed to get stars is like tattoos.
We have star tattoos on our arm. That's what he's trying to get at right now. We were drunk in Vegas one night years ago and both got matching tattoos on our arms. I got 3, and then my mom asked me why, and I said I have 1 for each sister. She says, "Honey, you have 4 sisters." I was drunk, okay? I don't know. I was a mess.
Yeah, I ended up covering mine up.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of them.
I'm getting more details tomorrow.
Yeah. So Ann sees right through JR, though. And Bobby's kind of like, Bobby kind of does, too. You love us. You adore us. You're all by yourself
That was
tonight.
a delayed laugh.
No Kelly here tonight to save you, sweetheart.
Nope. You're all alone.
But Bobby also sees through JR, just not quite the same way. I think Bobby's trying, he always gets duped by JR. He always wants to believe in JR, and he should never. Basically, right. And luckily he has a woman like Ann to wear the pants in that family because
and the gun
and to grab the rifle every single episode. Yeah. We should keep a tally of how many times she grabs a rifle this season.
It was twice.
That's
this
a great
one.
drinking game.
Yeah.
It was twice this one and twice last time maybe.
So 2 shots per episode. That's not that great of a drinking game.
Yeah. What about every time she fires the gun? Because you got to do more than 2 shots when you fire a gun.
No.
How about every time JR says daddy?
Yeah, mama
Daddy
or daddy.
or
Mama or daddy.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
Yeah. Or darling.
Yeah.
Come on, darling.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to have a
Should we bring drinks next time?
Yeah, I think we
do it
should.
and see what happens.
Wait, you guys didn't?
Well,
That's all tequila.
hello. Vodka for
Just
me.
letting you guys know.
I'm on juice fast.
She's like, coconut water. You're so LA. So then this episode ends with, finally we find out the guy who was investigating the email from last week, the email that was sent to Elena
from
Christopher. Allegedly. The investigator comes back to, was it to John Ross? Was he talking to?
John Ross.
Yeah.
To tell him, because we thought John Ross sent it.
Right.
That's what we all thought.
At the top of a parking structure.
Yes, on the top of a park. Isn't it funny how you always meet in a parking structure? When things are like shady, it's always a parking structure.
Always.
Watergate took place there.
There's no cameras.
Yeah, I guess. Now there are.
Yeah, there's...
In 2012 in Dallas, there have to be cameras somewhere.
Some.
I don't believe it. But they're on a parking structure. And John Ross finds out that the email was sent by who?
Oh, Rebecca.
Rebecca wrote the email to Christopher.
Yes. Before she even knew.
Correct.
Yeah. So Rebecca pretended to be... No, she wrote the email to Elena.
Yes.
Correct.
Rebecca wrote an email, sent it to Elena, and then as Elena runs off, John Ross meets up with her in Mexico or something. Was it Mexico?
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah, she went down to Mexico to deal with the
Mexico.
grief of the breakup.
Yeah, and then it turns out that Rebecca used that as an opportunity to then get to know Christopher.
Right.
And now they're married. And she's kind of conflicted as to, we haven't decided if she's a complete villain or if she's...
I think she went in with bad intentions, but then she fell for it.
Yeah, she's a little bit Sue Ellen-esque, I think. She's the Sue Ellen character of the newer show. Like, she's got a good side and a bad side, and she's kind of torn.
Right.
Whereas Elena's more the
She's
Pamela.
falling for her mark.
She is.
Big time.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see
She's
what
going to have to
happens next
decide
week.
between her brother and
Her husband.
Hello, that's Pamela.
Right.
That's Pamela's entire story.
Yeah, exactly.
Cliff Barnes and Bobby Ewing. Oh, Lord. So that concludes the episode. We're kind of excited about next week because I think the episodes are getting better. Right. But do you guys have any news? I think you have a little bit of news for our viewers and our listeners.
You had an exciting weekend.
TV News.
I did. I had a really good weekend. I actually met Josh Henderson.
You did?
I did.
Really?
Yes, he's a sweetheart, by the way.
Yeah?
He's just so hot in person.
He's way hot.
Hope you're listening. Hi, Josh.
Hello.
Yeah, hi, Josh.
I tweeted you today, sir.
I think I did too. I retweeted.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome, and he is actually a Dallas boy. He's a Texas boy from Dallas, and he's really excited about this because it's like, boy comes home to hometown, filming there. He loves it. We talked about that for a while.
I read an article saying that he hadn't been home in like 5 years, and he was kind of exciting to now get to go back to his hometown and get to experience
hang out with his friends, family.
Oh yeah, he's really stoked about it. He's been, and it was for 2 years he's been on the project already.
Yeah.
So
because they shot this pilot like a year ago, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, I saw the first trailer for it or promo for it was like a year ago.
Yeah,
in the summer. Yeah. So it's been going for a while, and he's so sweet. But did you know that he was on the WB season 2 of Pop Stars 2?
No.
Yes.
Singing?
Yes. Yes. Scene 23 was the name of his group.
Really?
Scene 23.
Yeah. Yes.
That's embarrassing.
That's kind of
Yes,
embarrassing. We got to find that footage.
We need to. That
It'll
would
be up
great.
here next week.
Maybe he could sing if we can get him in here.
Yeah.
Sing us a little song.
I'll let
Shirtless.
him sing to me. Oh,
And-
please. Inappropriate. See?
And you guys, you like the Desperate Housewives. Did you know that he was Austin McCann on the Desperate Housewives?
He was who?
Austin McCann on the Desperate Housewives.
What season was that? Because I know I'd seen him other places, and I couldn't figure out where I knew him from.
Yeah.
It had to have been Desperate Housewives. Interesting.
Yeah, which is interesting.
Interesting.
So, but yeah, a really nice stand-up dude, enjoyable to talk to. Really
Where were you
liked
at?
him. I was at Maria Menounos' birthday party.
Oh, work.
Yes, it was really great.
We're too new to get invited.
I know.
We were busy working, doing all these wonderful shows for you guys. Maybe
Exactly.
next year, Maria. Hey.
Hey,
love
work it
you.
out.
So predictions. What do we think's coming up for the show? Nope. My favorite part.
And now, your
I love
AfterBuzz
those lights.
TV.
It's really the little things in life that get me excited.
The little things. I
Yes.
still get scared every time I hear it because it comes out of nowhere to me.
He's done 2 shows now. Every time I hear it,
Oh
it's the
my
second
lord!
show.
No, but my prediction is that JR is going to completely screw over his son, John Ross, because that's just his thing. You know, he made that promise to him whilst he was getting shaved, saying that...
Did you say whilst
he was getting shaved, that he was going to make up for not being there for him. And every time he says something good like that, it always means something bad is happening. So I think he's going to completely screw his son.
I think, for some reason, don't ask me why, I think Christopher is going to take that money from Cliff Barnes. I think it's going to happen. I don't know how it's going to happen, but they keep playing that you'll never be one of them. You'll never be a Ewing. I really feel something's going to happen, and Christopher is going to take that money from Cliff Barnes.
I kind of see that happening too, because Cliff Barnes is around for a few episodes this season. I know, so I think he's back next week, possibly episodes 3, 4, and 10. I think I heard something like that. I read a blog somewhere about this, but I kind of agree with that. I think that Christopher, because they also made a reference that Jock had said years ago that you get power by being ruthless, not by being a hard worker, and by being whatever. You get it by being ruthless.
And you take it.
You take it.
Power is something that you take.
You take it. And I think that Christopher is finally going to step up and look, John Ross is playing dirty. I have to play dirty to keep up. So that's my prediction. Hey, you guys, I want to thank you guys for stopping by. Again, I'm AJ Gibson. You can follow me on Twitter at _AJ Gibson.
You can follow me at Twitter at RyanACarillo.com.
And you can follow me at Twitter at LulaCherryFilms.
Thanks for stopping by, you guys. We'll be here again next week, same time, same place. We appreciate you. We'll see you next week.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz y'all later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.